The email arrived at 2:17 a.m. No greeting, no signature, just a file attached. I opened it in the dark, screen light burning against my eyes. The first slide was mine, the structure, the phrasing, the layout. My proposal. Only it wasn't. The name stamped across the bottom was hers, his mistress. She had smoothed out my voice into something softer, polished for show, the kind of performance he adored. My chest felt hollow. Not rage yet, just silence. I traced every line, every stolen phrase, as if memorizing the betrayal would steady me. When I scrolled to the last page, I saw his initials, not hers, his. Approval stamped bold across the theft. I closed the laptop carefully, like one might place a body back in its coffin. The room returned to black. I lay there, awake, my jaw locked tight, the words echoing inside me. Smile more. That was what he had said last week when he slid the folder across the desk and placed it in her hands. She smiled. He smirked. And I smiled too, just enough to hide the fracture. But at 2:17 a.m., the fracture no longer hid itself. It spoke, and I listened. The next morning, the office was bright, merciless. She walked in first, heels clicking, perfume slicing through recycled air. She carried my work like it was her birthright. He followed, eyes landing on me for a fraction too long. Guilt disguised as indifference. I knew. But knowing isn't proof. And proof is what ruins men like him. "Try harder next time," she had whispered when she brushed past me in the corridor days earlier. I remember the weight of her perfume lingering, the purr of her words, the deliberate cruelty. She had practiced that line. She wanted me to hear it. I said nothing. I just watched. The boardroom chatter that morning was noise. My body moved on autopilot, nodding, typing, filing. Inside, I was dissecting every glance between them, every unspoken thread they thought invisible. When she leaned toward him, too close, I felt my stomach knot. When his hand brushed hers beneath the table, I looked away. Not because it hurt, I was past hurt already. It was calculation now. Denial died quickly. Suspicion turned into certainty. But certainty without evidence is weakness. And weakness is what they expected of me. So I waited, quietly, coldly. I began with the servers, every draft I had sent, every timestamp, every revision. My fingerprints were everywhere, buried in metadata they never thought to erase. Then the emails, traces of forwarded attachments, her name attached to files that had originated from my drive, his approval marked with casual arrogance. I didn't confront, not yet. I smiled in meetings, played my role. I watched them build their little empire atop my bones. At home, I worked, not on something new, not yet, but on stripping down what I had built, reassembling it, making it stronger, sharper, impossible to replicate. Each night was a study in silence, coffee cooling at my desk, clock hands moving without sound, my mind focused, surgical. I gathered enough to prove theft, but proof wasn't the weapon I wanted. Proof merely exposed. I wanted something heavier, something that would not just cut them open, but leave them bleeding in front of the people they wanted most to impress. So I drafted a second proposal, not from scratch, but from the ashes of the first. Refined, ruthless, too advanced for her to fake, too strategic for him to understand without me. I submitted it quietly, through a channel neither of them controlled, straight to the board. And then I waited. 3 weeks later, the board meeting was called. They arrived, her in crimson, him in tailored smugness. Their confidence was nauseating. They believed the stage was theirs. Then the first slide appeared on the screen. My slide, my name, my voice restored in black and white across the wall. The silence that followed was surgical. She blinked first. He frowned, lips parting as though to object, but nothing came. I felt my pulse slow, not quicken. I had never been calmer. "Let's finish what you started," I said into the silence, my eyes on him. Her head snapped toward him, betrayal suddenly redirected. His jaw tightened, a flicker of panic breaking his mask. The board members shifted, curiosity sharpening into suspicion. They recognized what was happening before he could control it. And I didn't need to explain. I just clicked forward, slide after slide. The work spoke for itself, and the room watched them unravel. After the presentation, questions flew, directed at me, respectful, interested. They, the thief and her enabler, were background noise now, reduced to shadows in their own performance. When the meeting ended, he tried. Of course he tried. A hand on my arm, a half-formed explanation, words like misunderstanding and teamwork. I looked at his hand. He dropped it. She didn't speak. Her silence was louder. Her eyes were knives turned inward now, cutting herself apart. I didn't need to raise my voice. I didn't need to explain the sleepless nights, the quiet calculations. I didn't need to tell them I had always known. I simply packed my notes, stood, and said, "Next time, smile for her." Then I left. Walking out of that boardroom, I felt no triumph, no rush of victory, only stillness. Because revenge isn't fire, it's ice. And once it's done, you don't burn, you freeze. I thought of his words again, smile more. As if obedience were beauty, as if silence were weakness. I smiled them. Not for him, not for anyone in that room, for myself. The kind of smile that comes only when the war is over and you're the only one left standing. The kind of smile that doesn't ask for permission. The kind that finishes what they started.